Happy Monday and welcome to the aftermath of one of the most rigged fights in history. Dude, I have just go watch one training video of Mike Tyson and then watch what he did in that fight. It was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I hate Jake Paul, but the motherfucker is genius at getting paid. You got to give him that. Fucking hell. How's everybody's weekend?
I've said it. Overall, it was a good weekend, but I've said it a few times in the leading up to this. Like, it's not going to be a fight, but Jake Paul is one damn good entertainer, if nothing else. I fucking hate the guy.
Yeah, he knows how to play the nemesis and get everybody to hate him, and that's what's getting him paid on a regular basis.
Yep.
Okay, the weirdest thing about the whole Jake Paul situation was that he kept spraying himself with his own body spray, and his brother kept spraying him with it and spraying it just out into the air. I was like, what are you doing? That's so ridiculous.
100%. I didn't even watch the fight. I didn't have the heart in it. I've watched some of the videos afterward, and there's one scene early on where you can tell Jake's on his back foot. He hugs Tyson, and then just there in his ear, and they've already done the lip reading and everything else, and it says, "Do you not want to get paid?" Right? And they've already pulled it out and everything. So there was in the contract clause, no uppercuts, and he had to go to the distance. If he didn't, he was going to get a significant pay cut. So kudos for Tyson to go out. I mean, it sucks for his reputation a little bit, but dude's almost 60 years old. What's he give a fuck? He just got a $60 million payday.
And I'm pretty sure that everybody still thinks he's like the baddest motherfucker.
Yeah, 100%.
So,
yeah,
like,
absolutely.
He's 58 years old. Give him a break, and he's fighting his kid. The girls' fight was way better, though. If you didn't watch the fight, you should watch the girls' fight because
Peyton was telling me, Jesus,
girls scrap, man. They just get down, and it was definitely the better fight, the best fight of the night.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I think the winner should have been Serrano.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
Sure. She totally got robbed. And she got headbutted twice and had like all the things coming out of her face.
I know.
Yep.
Peyton showed me a picture, just a flap of beef hanging off.
It was bad.
Yeah, that's a way to say it. That's a good
I mean, I didn't see it, but I have a visual now.
Just all up on a Monday.
I even posted about this because my thought as a salesperson, my very first thought was, oh my God, there are some people that are going to be in like crisis mode tomorrow morning with their advertising clients, because those advertisers paid so much money to be part of this. And then people are angry and the fight starts way late. And my husband went to bed. I watched it, but he went to bed. And so it's like, if you're that advertiser, you are calling your rep and giving them hell. And I was like,
And Netflix is catching hell. I didn't watch it either, but they couldn't handle the bandwidth. I mean, they maxed their damn servers. Yeah.
And apparently they've done a few of these live events, and they've all kind of ended up the same way. And so nobody knows why they thought they could handle a bigger event if they couldn't handle the smaller ones.
Right. Because like Love is Blind live thing or something like that. I don't watch that show, but when I commented that, Netflix had messed it up, somebody else was like, well, because we watched Love is Blind, we knew what was going to happen. I was like, okay, well, you could have won.
I don't even know what Love is Blind is. I mean, I know it's a thing because
obviously it's how Elizabeth feels, right?
100%. You got to be blind to stay with this.
Yep.
Stevie, welcome back to the show, honey.
Thank you.
Fucking hate you.
We've missed you.
But yeah, I got to see Peyton do a little bit of work. We cut down 11 trees on Saturday. I cut down 2 more on Sunday. I'm a sore bitch.
I bet.
That's all the time, though.
Stevie?
I'm making up for lost time. I keep throwing the softballs. Come on.
Stevie had her coffee this morning. Mercy, I love you. But yeah, this weekend was a lot of damn work, and I'm a little bit sore. Luckily, we had 2 young bucks. Well, 1 buck and 1 half a buck because Peyton was there. But
yeah, I'll take it.
My
Take what I can
niece's
get.
fiance, that dude was scrambling up trees like a fucking monkey, grabbing ropes. I mean, kid's chaotic and fearless.
Yeah, he climbed up the one tree. When he got back down, we looked at that tree again, and we were like, "Oh, it's split already. There's
He
a
was so
crack
old and
up the
dead.
center
whole
of that
tree
tree."
was- I mean, there's no reason that tree stayed up the entire time. He shimmied up it to grab a rope so we could pull it down. Just insane. Just insane. All right, well, let's get this game started, P.
All right, rolling. All right. This game is philosopher quotes. I'm going to show you a quote, and y'all are going to have to guess 50-50 whether it was a philosopher or not. Some of them are comedians, some of them are writers, some of them are philosophers. Everybody pretty much understand that?
I think so.
I mean, are we saying like a famous philosopher or like an armchair philosopher? Like
Stevie Gunn is a philosopher.
No, just some of them are well known, some of them are less well known, but most of them I put a little underneath them, like whether they were a philosopher or not, so and be like, yeah, here's the guy's name. And I'm like, wait.
I put a little underneath him. What did you put underneath him?
Anyways, moving on. Knowledge speaks, but wisdom listens.
That sounds like a rapper.
That's a philosopher.
I think it's a philosopher.
That is Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, I was closest.
I was close.
Yeah. No, I was like, oh shit, okay. And so then I had to trying to find philosophical quotes that feel funny, and I was like, try and throw them off, but nobody searches that shit on Google, so Google didn't know what to fucking do to me. I am not young enough to know everything.
Comedian.
Man, that could
Like
be a song.
an actor.
Yeah, I was gonna go with an actor, actress.
An actor, an actress. Donnie, you said song.
Song, yeah. So it's a songwriter, singer.
Yeah, comedian.
Well, Oscar Wilde, philosopher.
Oh shit!
I'm not young enough to know everything.
We really don't know this.
Yeah, no shit.
We are bad at this game.
Because we're like 100% convinced that we're wrong every time.
Oh man, that means I'm excited to watch this whole game play out. Nobody's getting points. These are my favorite ones. Cauliflower is nothing but cabbage with a college education.
I hope this is a philosopher.
Yeah.
It's
It's a 50-50 shot.
Martha Stewart. I think that's my favorite answer.
I'm gonna say a comedian.
Yeah. I'm not
Mark
a
Twain.
Mark
I mean,
Twain.
he kind
said-
of counts as a comedian.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
get that.
That's what I didn't know. I was like, philosopher probably.
Wow.
Humans are impulsive, but also indecisive. They don't know what they want, but they know that they want it now.
Oh,
Philosopher.
Feels like Gary
philosopher. Like who?
Yeah.
Gary V. Like something Gary V might say.
It
Little
does
more
sound like Gary.
I
Vee.
wouldn't call him a philosopher though.
But there's not an F word in it.
I know, that's what I was just gonna say.
I'm gonna
True,
say
true.
not a philosopher just to be contradictory.
All right. Comedian.
There you go.
Oh, I don't even
Dylan
know.
Moran. The hurrier I go, the behinder I get, he says.
Oh, me.
Should have
Um,
put a picture of Ashley up on the corner.
Yeah, no kidding.
I should have.
and I'm gonna get this wrong. I was gonna say philosopher actually,
Philosopher.
Wow.
because they're the only people that talk like that.
I know, right?
I talk like that when I just wake up in the morning,
I'm
So
surprised
24/7.
words come out.
24/7. Love is a serious mental disease.
Philosopher.
Yeah.
Somebody with a
cool.
broken heart.
That's also
Hey,
well,
there
that's
you go.
philosopher. I think that checks the box.
Somebody
Philosopher.
who's single. Sorry.
Plato said that
Okay.
one.
Philosopher, see? There we go.
Yeah, yeah,
He had a broken heart.
Guess so.
yeah.
Did you only
Either
write
that
that
or a bad
down?
marriage.
Yeah.
People can't drive you crazy if you don't give them the keys.
A comedian or a
Yeah, I'm a
influencer.
comedian.
Sounds like a salesperson actually talking about power.
Oh, there you
Oh.
go. I like
Stevie,
that.
have you had that quote before?
I have seen it before, yeah.
It could be like a motivational speaker too.
Yeah.
So
That's
Yeah.
true.
I don't
Dr. Mike.
Bechtel. He's so
Bechtel?
awesome. We've never heard of him.
Never heard
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
I feel like I've heard that quote before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's what I thought too.
I'm not afraid of death. I just don't want to be there when it happens.
That's a rapper.
Mhm.
That's gonna be my
Rapper.
answer.
If you keep saying it, maybe it'll eventually be true.
True. No. Peyton shakes his head no.
I was gonna say like an actor, like Superman or some shit, you know.
I'm
Yeah.
just gonna say not a philosopher.
There you go.
No, you don't have to guess whether
I know,
what
but
their
Bernie keeps
profession
going the
is.
very literal route here.
That's Bernie for us.
Woody Allen.
Wait,
Woody
Woody Allen's not a
Philosopher.
They
philosopher.
titled him. They title him as a philosopher.
Fuck outta
Hold on, I
here.
wrote this
No.
note down because I knew y'all were gonna yell at me. Woody Allen was elected into the American Philosophical Society in 2010. I wrote that note down. I had to go fact
That
check
doesn't
it.
mean he's philosophical.
Just because it's in
Doesn't
Wikipedia doesn't make it true.
Right. Fuck, I'm
All
gonna
right,
make
I
my
can
own
be wrong on
Wikipedia
this one.
page.
Wikipedia, it says Donnie is good looking. We know that ain't true.
That's, Donnie wrote it himself.
I did.
That's the thing.
Wikipedia page by Donnie Bovine about Donnie Bovine.
You give your sources at the bottom of the page and you just say, me, bitch.
Myself.
No, he lists the dates. This is the date I said it. This is the date I said it.
Yeah.
I like it.
I find a duck's opinion of me is very much influenced by whether or not I have bread.
Philosopher.
Yeah.
Philosopher.
That feels like
Yeah.
philosopher.
That one feels unanimous. Comedian.
Of course.
Oh shit.
If
Just
we
when you
were
think
all
you understand the
together,
game.
we were wrong. If we're all together,
Yeah.
we're wrong. That's just it.
If you think you understand the game, you are wrong.
You are wrong.
The only way to get rid of temptation is to yield to it.
Philosopher.
I
Philosopher.
No.
don't even understand that. So I'm gonna say philosopher because I don't fully understand it.
Yeah, and I was trying to find a picture here, but anytime I wrote temptation, I didn't want to put the picture up of drugs or women, or I was like, no, I don't want to. No. We'll move on from that one. So I put a yield sign.
There you go.
Oscar Wilde again.
Oh. We got that right though. We
You
said
did get that one right. Look
I
at us
think
go.
we did. Yeah, I think
Well,
that's 1 point.
Bonnie figured out if he doesn't understand it, it's
It's
probably
philosopher.
philosopher.
100%.
Yeah,
You
that'll
can just
do it.
write random fucking words together that make no sense, and somebody's like, "That is so profound."
There you go. I think if we had thought about that earlier, we would have gotten more of these right.
Right?
You know what? I'll write down my morning thoughts, and I'll be a philosopher.
You
'Cause
will.
they
Well,
don't know.
obviously, it worked for
Then you
Woody
can add
Allen.
it to your Wikipedia page.
That's true. The last 29 days of the month are the hardest. Yeah.
I'm gonna stay with my theory, philosopher.
I say not a philosopher.
Yeah, I agree. Not a philosopher.
This one is Nikola Tesla, considered a philosopher.
I wouldn't consider him a philosopher
inventor.
either. An inventor, I'd go there.
Yeah. Also, he
Okay.
was considered a philosopher as per Google. So deal with
Well,
it, Donnie.
Google,
Yeah.
I call bullshit.
Yeah, I don't. I think you need better sources, Peyton. I
Okay.
don't
All right.
Right.
Fine. It's one thing to make people laugh. It's another thing to make people smile.
Oh, that's sweet.
I say not a philosopher though.
I say it's dumb.
One of these days, we got to do this show without Donnie.
And we just canceled Peyton.
But yeah. Okay, but the sad truth is, if Donnie wasn't here, the quote would be true. We wouldn't
Yeah.
laugh, but everybody would smile.
Yeah. This was a comedian that said this one, and it kind of fits.
Norm Macdonald's a funny comedian.
Mhm.
Build a man a fire and he'll be warm for a day. Set a man on fire and he'll be warm for the rest of his life.
That sounds like a comedian.
That
That
definitely
does.
sounds like a comedian.
Philosopher and comedian.
And
Oh,
2 for 1.
Super.
actually, based on these quotes, couldn't we say that most comedians are philosophers in
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
way, shape, or form?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll give you that. But that's all I got.
Nice.
So, yeah, good enough. Thanks for playing this one, guys.
roll that footage, please.
Right.
This is Ashley Beck Cuellar, founder of SalesSpark, giving sales teams the relearning they need to grow their outbound sales. The SalesSpark team teaches how to reestablish genuine connections and provide value through social selling. With Ashley leading the charge, sales no longer seems icky. And today, she gets the hot seat with the Success Champions team.
With her leading the charge, sales no longer feels icky. Those were the words that just came out of that. Wow.
That is in her LinkedIn bio.
It is.
It
It's in
said
my
sales
about
no
section.
longer feels icky. I said, okay, we'll use
No,
it if that's what she wants to
Think
say.
about closing multi-million-dollar deals. The biggest thing I'm worried about is feeling icky.
If you're closing billion-dollar deals, nobody at the table wants to feel super icky about it, right?
Wow.
Very much.
Wow. So Ashley,
Nice.
awesome to have you on the show. And look at P even said her name right. I'm
You did. I was
impressed.
super
Yeah,
impressed.
you know, so awesome. So the infamous ABC friggin',
Yes.
you know, as everybody throughout LinkedIn calls her. So well, welcome to the show, babe. Tell us a little bit
Thanks.
about you, your story, and then how can we help you the most?
Well, 17. I was with the company for 17 years and sold automotive direct mail to car dealerships, and through also some like advertising agencies, sometimes things like that. So the guys that I was working for about 10 years ago started using all this like cash from the advertising business to start building a software business as well, like a self-funded software business. And so all the like bright, shiny things always went there. And I basically sold the same 2 products, bootstrapping it over by myself, kind of. I mean, I had like a graphic designer and a coordinator and all that stuff for a lot of years. And it just kind of all kept hitting me in the right waves of life. Like I was pregnant and I was crushing it and I needed to pay for daycare. So I just kept crushing it and doing the job. And then the pandemic hit and I was like, well, I was not born to be a preschool teacher. So I hope my other job just needs to stay like really easy and I need to be expert level at it so I can do it and then do whatever else I have to do for the day. And then I just kind of wrote it out a little bit longer. And then they asked me to rebuild my side of the business. And we just didn't agree on what that should look like. They wanted me to, do one cold call at a time to dealerships again for a product that is basically like selling buggy whips when Ford already has trucks on the road. So I was like, I just don't think I can do that, guys. Like, I don't have the passion for it. I don't think the product is there. Like, I'm going to go ahead and go, but I didn't have a plan. And so I took to LinkedIn about 6 months before that. And I'd been on LinkedIn a million times before through my sales career. My sales coach taught me to use it by, if I wanted to work with your Ford store, I go find your Ford store on LinkedIn, and then I connect to every single person I can find that works there.
Uh-huh.
But that's the end of the plan. There was no more. So like, I just wasn't really coached to use it the way that we use it today, that lots of us use it today. And so I kind of was like, I'm just going to be myself this time. I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off and just do all the shit that I thought I wasn't supposed to do on LinkedIn a million years ago. And I'm just going to see how it goes. And so I did. I started doing like yoga on LinkedIn and cartwheels and things like that people just don't usually do. And it showed me that people want to connect with people. And they want to like see things up from you other than business a lot of times, so that they can connect with you in a different way. And it also showed me the power of LinkedIn for a salesperson. My company didn't care about LinkedIn. So I never had Sales Navigator. I never had any of that stuff. And then when I took to it by myself and paid for Sales Navigator on my own, I was paying for LinkedIn Premium on my own too. But then I was like, no, I got to kick this up a notch. And I was like, why would no one have shown me this before? Like, what a powerful tool to be able to find the people you're looking for. And so it kind of opened my eyes to the fact that there were a lot of sales teams that don't want to straight cold call anymore, don't want to send thousands of marketing emails. They want to like find the person and talk to the person and figure out what's really wrong so that they can solve those things for them. And I just think that LinkedIn and other social selling things are a much better way to do that. My dog is going to hack in the background.
I was like, bless you, Ashley.
No, that's the dog. So anyway, that's what it's. I still am maybe like trying to figure out my niche a little bit. Although I have started, so everybody kept saying, stay in automotive. That's what you've been in for 17 years, you know, like, but I don't want really to be selling to dealers for sure. But I figure there are a lot of companies out there that have like an automotive vertical or who sell into automotive. And the fact that I speak their language, and a lot of people that work with dealerships feel like it is a very unique sale and a very hard thing to do, but everybody thinks their sale is hard.
Yes.
But to be able to speak their language, be able to speak the same language and know the dealership intricacies is probably a benefit to being able to sell to them and provide coaching for them. So look in there. But then also I'm really good at coaching teams that have old dudes and young dudes. No, they don't have to be dudes. Most of the time they are. But like old people and young people on a sales team together, and they all need to learn. Annie, can you please just lay down? For the love of God.
Bernie, she's talking to you.
So that kind of, it's been a weird thing to learn about myself, is that I can, for real.
He knows you're live.
I know, like he's going to need to go out probably is what's going to happen. But the fact that old people and younger folks can listen to what I'm saying and both get something from it without me having to change the story feels like a talent I didn't know I had. And so that I don't really know how I searched for that specifically, but it is something I enjoy too. You know, like I did a workshop in September right after Success Champions.
Yep.
And I had two 70-year-olds in the room with me, and they are two of the guys who have continued to reach out to me. Like they really want to learn. They want to know how to change the way they get to sell, because the only way they know how to sell is to show up on your front doorstep or call and call and call and call and call. So it's been really fun so far. And I think just like figuring out how to, everybody just is like niche down, throwing it in my face. And I don't know if I'm doing it right.
Fair. Well, here's what I'll tell you, at least year one, maybe year two in business, fuck a niche. And here's why. You have no idea what's going to work yet. You have no idea exactly what you're selling, right? You know, you have ideas. So right now, early in business, you get to be a business whore. And what I mean by that is you get to go say yes to everything so you can figure this shit out.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Niching only comes into play after you've figured some things out. Like, this is exactly who I want to work with. This is exactly what I'm selling. But your business is going to change 3 to 17 billion times.
Yeah.
Right. Until you figure out what the business model is. So anybody who's telling you to niche early on, they're not far enough in the game to have fucked up enough to understand when it's time to niche.
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
that's kind of how I felt about it. You know, like I feel like I have to take things to figure out what I do like and what does resonate and the people that are resonating with me, you know?
Yep.
Absolutely.
So,
Well, and I will also say, I think there's like this misnomer in the world that stick in your lane. Like if you know the automotive industry, like definitely stick in the automotive industry. I get that people speak the same language, but sometimes what you're selling, the reason you're no longer in automotive is because it doesn't fit.
yeah. Oh, that's a
Could that be
great
because
point.
they don't want it or whatever? So while I think it's always good to start with who you know for sure and what you know, I think sometimes we mislead business owners into sticking into something that maybe they know and they understand and they have connections and network there, but that doesn't mean the product or service that they're selling is a good match.
Right. Absolutely.
And I think that's another piece to always evaluate. Just because it's easier or maybe more something you're familiar with doesn't mean they actually need or want what you're selling.
Right. Well, you heard me say I don't want to be in automotive anymore. So like, why force myself too much, I guess?
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't even think of it that way, that like I left that industry for a reason.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it took me a really long time after 17 years to figure out how to pull all of my skills out of, because that's a little box, y'all. Like there are not a lot of automotive direct mail experts out there. And so to like take those skills and like redefine them as generic skills, kind of as sales skills, has taken me this long. And I just now feel more comfortable with what my better skills are over some others after writing for so long on LinkedIn. That it's given me that year to get a little bit of clarity on that part too. So
100%. I'm curious if you weren't to start gearing your content towards the old fuckers, if that wouldn't bring in the right audience, because going after the youth, they don't usually get the ear of the old guys. But if the old guys get to know that you're out there doing it, I wonder if they don't bring you in and try and be part of the cool club with the younger generation type thing.
That's a good point. I like that.
I don't know how you do it other than say, hey, old fuckers, if you want to figure this shit out.
I know. But truly, I mean, I compare it to my dad, right? Because my dad's 73. He has a LinkedIn profile. He has previously in years commented on things that I have posted, but now can't even figure out how to log in. So, it's like, maybe that's part of why it's patience thing, right? Because it's explaining some of those things that the 20-year-olds already get. Yep. I mean, kids that are coming out of college right now, they know how to market themselves. They know how to participate on social media and create content and make fun videos. The other guys, they need help, you have to baby step with them. And honestly, thank you for AI, because I have taught guys who are like petrified to use LinkedIn. I'm like, your company posts a marketing post, right? Yep. I was like, copy and paste the marketing post, put it in ChatGPT, tell it to rewrite it in a different voice and make it sound more like a story, and then make it your own post instead of just reposting the company marketing post. And they're like, oh, that's genius. It like takes all of the having to be creative as super creative part away, but it also then just breaks down the wall a little bit so they get to know what they're doing, and then they start to feel brave enough to write their own stuff.
Yeah.
But
I love the idea of, right, taking, I think what you just said, do that to what Donnie just said.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I know.
Right?
As soon as I said that, I was like,
write stories about people who've been, I wouldn't necessarily say old fuckers, but if you want, you could just put a picture of Donnie and say, if this looks
wow,
this looks like you
it's
feel
chrome. This ain't gray. This is chrome.
I know. But I think, something, again, like, do we focus on this enough in business? What you're talking about is the difficulty between selling people something that they don't know that they need versus selling people something they want.
Yep.
Correct.
Right? The people who've been in the business a long time and realize they need to use LinkedIn, they need to be better with technology, but they don't know how. They're a much easier sell.
You're totally
than
true.
somebody who feels like they already know it all. You don't have anything to show them. They don't. Right. And that's, I think, part of that generational difference.
Yep.
That I think you can lean into.
Yeah.
I think you should totally do a baby boomer's guide to freaking LinkedIn. Like do a workshop
110%.
Called that, because you got
110%.
a lot of old folks out there that are sitting there looking at the platform, seeing the young kids doing it. And they're like, I have no fucking clue what I should be doing here.
I love it. That is a great idea. Because I was thinking, how do you?
That's 1 point, Donnie, just in case y'all are keeping score.
Point for Donnie. I was thinking
everybody deserves a point for participation.
Oh. Bernie, you're going to have to talk to shut Stevie up.
Oh, man.
I know what got into me today. I don't know. I'm sorry.
I love it.
Well, so sometimes with that, though, you guys, like, it might, with what you're talking about the baby boomers thing, I think that's a great idea, but that's like my ultimate goal is to be in companies for continuous coaching on social selling and LinkedIn stuff. And so my actual target, right, is the sales manager that is going to hire me. And so but the philosophy would be I draw in the baby boomers with the workshop with the webinar, whatever it is.
The twist is really simple. Is your sales manager guide of getting your baby boomers on LinkedIn.
Oh, why are you guys so smart? And I don't think of these things.
Well, I mean, it's good looks too. Let's be real. No, I mean, everything in business, we all are in our businesses, right? So And there you go. There's a lead for you already.
Aw, I
Uh,
love Dr. Dre.
So the one way to think about it is, when you're in your business, you're in the grind, you're in the day to day, you're doing all the stuff. It almost always takes somebody from the outside to come in and go, hey, have you thought about this direction? Because we're not emotionally attached to the inside of your business.
Right.
Like, I hope you're amazingly successful and impact and change the world. In the same token, I don't give a shit. Right. It's not my business. Right.
Yeah, totally.
So it's always fun to get an outside. Chime in. PS ended a sentence with a preface, and that's old dudes can. and what's the comma we use? What's the 3 commas?
The Oxford.
Yes, that's a real fucking thing, right?
Better put that in every post.
Yeah, somebody said in chat, it's ChatGPT. If there's an Oxford comma in here, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, right. And I'm weird about my spacing too. Like it used to always be 2 spaces, and now it's
after
1.
a period. Hello.
Such random stuff. No, I know. And go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I think what Donnie is saying is important in that, like, who are you going after? And how do you make the little tweak to get them? But also, I hear this all the time, not in a sales capacity, but I get hired by HR and by associations all day long to talk about multi-generational workplaces, which is really what you're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just a flip on that. So I think if you're looking at workshops or webinars that you can offer, right? Talk to sales managers about how do you deal with a team with such generational variety of how they work.
Yeah.
Teach them how to lead them in that.
Yeah.
And I think that would be something that a lot of people would get into too.
I think so too. I think that that like generational sales team is a focus for, I have a girlfriend who speaks on that, and on just generational sales teams, or like teams in the office in general. And how do you make sure that when you're talking to one group, you're speaking their language, and when you're talking to the other group, you're speaking their language, and then can speak to all of them at the same time.
Dude, I could see you reaching out to all the sales conferences and said, hey, I could come in specifically and speak on generational sales and how to speak to the entire team. I can't imagine there's a whole lot of people that are focused in that arena.
I know. I mean, Lindsay definitely has tons of places that she speaks and people that want to hear it. Lots of HR stuff, less on the sales conferences, like more on the HR side, I feel like.
Well, let's be honest. People don't invest in sales training for their salespeople most times. It's one of the tougher sales because you actually have to most times go convince companies that they got to invest in their people.
Yeah.
Because people just think they're salespeople. They should automatically be fearless and go be able to close multi-million-dollar deals.
Right.
So it's a little, but going through HR may be your way to get into sales.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Well, and I think so right now I get a lot of requests for one-on-one coaching, and that's not exactly what my plan is. But like you said before, I've been saying yes and doing that because I'm like, I will absolutely help you. And, we will, because it gives me practice, lets me help people. And then also, of course, gives me like, social proof and referrals and things like that. But
well, do what everybody else does and put them in a community. You don't have to do them one-on-one, build a small community and charge them monthly and you get the retainer going. If they're coming to you, they're going to learn best in group setting anyways. One-on-one's fun, but when they're watching other people struggle with the same shit they're struggling with, they learn faster.
Yeah. Well, and we talked about this on Block Party on Friday. My plan is to announce on the first week of December that I'm going to start doing coffee shop hours, like office hours at a local coffee shop. And I'm going to like move it around town, like do it in different areas of town in local coffee shops, just to kind of see what kind of response I get from doing that. And, I'm working at the same time, obviously, but if people come and want to ask me questions and want to talk about coaching type stuff, then it shows me a little bit more that I could make a community out of that. I guess because I don't know, like when you do that, because you were talking about doing a happy hour, right? Mm-hmm. And my comment was not a whole lot of parents can be able to show up for happy hours all that often. But if I do a coffee shop hour, then it's work day. So like, am I also then making that inaccessible for people in offices that want to talk? I don't know.
Potentially. I mean, when I did sales training, we went to happy hours, but all the business was done 8 to 5. Like, yeah. I mean, there wasn't hardly anything that's happening after the fact. So there is something to say. And if you were going to go in and work with a company, you were going in 8 to 5 anyway. So yeah, because they're not going to pull their guys out of pocket.
So you all see me on LinkedIn. I am great at networking, on LinkedIn and in person too, but I have not built a strong network locally because I always sold nationally.
Yeah.
And so I didn't focus on building a local network. And so that's kind of part of what I'm trying to do too, is like bring myself into the local community a little bit better. Because I still truly also think that I will have a better chance of finding clients in my local area that
So
know each other and can talk.
I have the craziest idea in the world.
Oh my God. I'm almost afraid.
You should start a local SEN chapter and build your local that way.
We'll see. Seriously, I mean, I have had one of my girlfriends who's in the Outlier Project with me too. She and a couple other women in town did start a group for women. And it's like I just don't hear about that stuff because I always was so worried about connecting nationally with the dealerships and things like that I never paid attention to that stuff. So now learning that there are people doing that, and people ask me about, people don't know how to network, Donnie. A lot of people just don't really know.
You know what? I'm literally blown away every day when somebody says, "Oh my God, I've never thought about it." And I'm like, this is common knowledge in my head on networking.
Mm-hmm.
And to watch the comments and people when I put out stuff on networking, it seriously, it blows my damn mind that they don't think that way.
I know. Well, and that's another thing that's one of the things that I would say that like the older generation does seem to understand the networking a little bit. Now they understand the old school networking, like shake hands, business cards at the Rotary Club type thing, but they get that a little bit more. The younger generation does not quite get that. They're more like create content to attract people than they are understanding networking. But I think when people think about LinkedIn and using it as a sales tool, they think about finding the exact person they want to talk to. And it's teaching them that adjacent type. That's my husband.
Yeah. I wondered.
I noticed a name similarity.
I would say he knows how to network a little bit. He caught your ass. So I mean,
I think we're going back to some of the, obviously with her, Love is Blind. I can tell by anyway, I'm just kidding. So, okay, but here's the thing. You just said something that I think you really need to think about. You said using LinkedIn as a sales tool, not using LinkedIn as a networking tool.
This is true. That's
right. But I think that's part of it.
Yeah,
like
totally.
People look at it as a sales tool. It's what I use to connect to I'm going to cold outreach. I'm going to pitch slap people and they're going to come by. This is what LinkedIn is. No, LinkedIn is networking.
Yes, that's so true.
And then it gets into social selling. And I think that's a piece that if we don't start talking about it that way, nobody's going to start using it that way.
Yeah, that's so true. The words are important for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also a ton of like AI tools and things like that, even like ChatGPT that sales teams and other generations don't think to use as much. Actually, not even just other generations. I was on I recorded with Branded last week, and neither of them had ever heard of Sendoso or Crystal Knows or what other tool did we talk about? Oh, SendSpark. I wouldn't expect them really to know SendSpark, but there's some really cool AI tools that like Mr. AI over there didn't even know about. And so there's probably tons of sales teams out there that don't know about those tools. And those are really important tools to be using in an atmosphere like today. If you can send,
so how often are you putting that in your content?
Well, and how often are you running workshops or webinars so you can actually teach it and not just post about it to people who are already on LinkedIn getting it?
I know. So that is kind of the problem. In this little echo chamber in here.
It took us 25 minutes to figure out that's the problem.
I know, right? Seriously, I do tell people all the time, the people I talk to, one-on-one coach and workshop, when I walk in there, I don't realize ever how much of an expert I am until I start talking. And I'm like, these people don't even have profile pages built yet.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not teaching anybody how to sell. I'm teaching them how to build their profile page to start with. And so it's like the rest of that I want to get to, but like I have a 5-hour workshop that is basically starts out baby stepping them through a profile page and how to kind of create some content once in a while, at least, and like how to comment thoughtfully. I mean, it's literally that basic.
Yep.
How long was that workshop?
5 hours.
You need to go spend some time with Stevie because holy hell in a handbasket.
Girl,
You're
45
keeping
minutes.
people captivated for 5 fucking hours.
Yeah, dog, they loved it. I mean, we were great. There was a lunch break. I like
She
stopped
called me
coffee.
dog.
Well, it's better than Gramps. Anyway. Okay. Well, yes, you can do a 5-hour workshop. That's fine. I believe when we talked about Badass Business Summit, I said maybe get it down to 4. But okay, you can do that. But you could also do a 45-minute webinar and sell a shit ton of people into a group program and not kill yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what happened was
What happened?
There I was.
It was a stormy night.
I really built out like a 10-session course essentially. Okay. But then a full day workshop is what they wanted. And so I just made it that.
Yeah, for sure.
And kind of went that direction. But yeah, I get it. And I just don't know. I guess I don't think of those things. And like I do the block party show with Liam.
Which is awesome.
But I have had more requests lately from my girlfriends about wanting to pair up with me to do a webinar on like with their topic, but add in my topic.
So,
you know what I mean?
so here's a word of caution on partnering up with people.
Yeah, I was like,
Spidey senses started going off, right? So, when people start getting a little bit of notoriety, start getting a little bit of a following, people are into them. People want to ride the lightning.
I know. I found this.
Mm-hmm. So if you do any combined something or other, you need to know their exact game plan and strategy to market, bring people to the table, and fill their side of it. Otherwise, they're going to feed off of yours.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because if you put out a webinar, people are going to show up. Well,
and really, I believe that there can be greatness in strategic partnerships. I put up with his ass all the time, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, come on.
But I also think, like, control your own life, right? Control your own mailing list, control your own destiny. The best thing I ever did for my business was my monthly webinars.
Okay.
And I did them with nobody else, no partnerships, no nothing. It's 1 hour once a month. And that at this point in my life, that's the only marketing I have to do to fill my entire pipeline. And I think people think, well, I need their audience or it'll help me get to more people. It can, but to Donnie's point, so often it's all your people and 1 or 2 of their people, and then they get your people.
Yep.
That's not helpful to you.
Right.
So focus on building your own. And then I always prefer when I build my own and then I bring somebody in to talk about something I don't teach at all. And then I'm helping them and there's a kickback scenario. That's so much better than saying, oh, we're going to partner and both bring our people to this. No, you won't.
And I think early on when I was doing combined webinars with people, unintentionally, I thought they were going to do more than they actually were going to.
Absolutely.
And so I didn't push as hard, feeling like they were going to.
Yeah, they're going to do it.
They're going to do their side of things. And then you get these shitty outcomes because they don't know how to go all in. You're going half-assed thinking they're going to bring the other half. When it's all yours, now the pressure's on you to perform. So you're going to kick it up a lot.
Yeah.
Right. And also, how you're going to react to situations and how you're going to respond to questions and things like that.
And let's say they're not the greatest performer. Now you don't have to worry about picking them up.
I know, me having to support Donnie for 3 whole days every year.
It's fucking horrible. I mean, my shoulders are fucking tired carrying her ass.
Well, part of the reason I think that Liam and I's thing has gone on so long because we didn't have plans to continue it forever. We just were like, we're going to do this one time. We're going to see how it goes. And it was fun. So we kept doing it. But Liam and I are such a great pair when that comes to that. We work off each other very well. And I have skills in certain areas that he doesn't, and he's great at opening and closing the show and filling in the I fill in the fluff and he has all the smart things to say. But I guess if you find someone that you work that now I know that if Liam and I wanted to do something together, I feel that it would be worth it. Yeah, that it would be worth it.
And that's a key, Ashley. You got to have somebody that you're partnering up with that is going to pull their weight, right? To Donnie's point earlier, if somebody's just riding your coattails, and I think, Donnie, you've talked about this on podcasts before as well, right?
Yep.
When you're guesting on podcasts and such, if you're going to be the guest, you should be pushing your audience towards that podcast, not relying on, thanks, Peyton, not relying on just their their audience to show up for you, right? So
Yeah.
it's super important to find who that partner is. It sounds like you have one in Liam, but be careful about, you know, the ones who just want to ride your coattails, because I do a lot of combined webinars as well for clients, and I see that exact same thing happen all the time.
Really, the energy shifts one way or the other.
Yep, one person will put in all the energy, and then the other person is just, they're going to show up, they're going to deliver their content, and they're out.
And let's be honest, most times when somebody's asking you to do a webinar, it's because they haven't put in the work to grow their own audience, grow their own following, grow their own people. So you shortcut the process for them. So in their head, you've already got it. All they got to do is show up and perform.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, and I would also say something to consider that has nothing to do with the other people or their motives, intentions, or audience is, you talked earlier about what is my niche? Do I have a niche? Should I have a niche? All these things, right? When we talk about learning who the people are that will be the people called to your stuff, you want to do that when you're controlling the audience, because then you know who those people are and if it's working, if it's not working. When you do things with other people and you're splitting audiences and things like that, they may have a group of people who just aren't your target, doesn't work for you, for what you sell. And you may come out of that going, oh, well, then that doesn't work. No, it may totally work for another group of people, but because you were working on their audience and their people, can you really judge where your next target should be? Whereas when you control the audience and you control the information, you totally judge how your stuff is working and to which groups.
Yep.
So that's another piece. I think you learn more when you're on your own.
Yeah,
100%. And think about who's their ideal target. Who are they selling to?
Right.
If they're not going into multi-million-dollar companies with sales teams and the likes, I don't give a shit what they teach. It's not going to bring the people to the playground that you need to be at the show up at the damn webinars. Yeah. And one of the reasons Stevie and I work semi-okay, maybe a little bit kind of sort of okay together.
Depends on the day.
Right. Is we're in two completely separate different fucking worlds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. Like there's not a lot of crossover with the things we do. Mm-hmm. You know, in all seriousness, you know, she spends more of her time in corporate training. I'm selling to people who run SMBs into mid-market companies, right? So it's almost two completely different audiences.
Yeah.
So there's no threat of competition, no feelings getting hurt. You know, she cries all the damn time when we're on stage. I don't understand what that's about, but you know.
Okay, who had the crying this last summit? Yeah. Okay.
Hey, all we got to do is talk about
you.
All we gotta do is bring up the theater and
okay. Well, now that I will cry about. That I will cry about.
That was cool though. I love that. Was such a good community moment at the summit to like have that money raised. Like that was very fun. It was cool.
Mm-hmm.
It was awesome. Cool. It was the nicest thing Donnie's ever done to me in the last 15 years.
Ever. Let's just go ever. Ever. We can just go there.
Donnie, what you said though about the energy thing. Like, I don't want to make any of my friends feel bad or anything like that, but I do have a coach, and I remember, I can't remember, it was probably like 2 months ago, maybe even longer than that ago. I was like, okay, so I feel drained because everyone keeps asking for my energy for things, for me to show up for things with them. And I love that and appreciate that and want to support my friends. But then at some point I have to realize that it's starting to drain my energy a little bit and be like, I got to protect this energy, and I will support you, but I can't be part of that right now because I need my energy for myself to make sure that I'm doing what I need to get done. And that's so uncomfortable, but it did make me take a step back because I had agreed to a bunch of things. And then I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm not getting anything done for myself right now. And so it was kind of a good thing to learn that I just needed to back up a little bit.
So two things to think about is one, it's sexier to say no than yes. Two, look at all your past success you've had and how much volume you've sold over the years. Mm-hmm. And I bet if we were all honest and we looked and compared the how much we've sold, and we compare it with the people that we are networking and hanging out with, odds are they have not performed at the same level that you have over the time. You can't get back to that level of where you were, even if that's where you want to go, by partnering up with people who don't understand that level.
Right. Totally true.
Right.
Totally true. I mean, I think so. I think that the funnier part of that too is that I was in sales, and so obviously there are a lot of salespeople on LinkedIn, but a lot of my friends that I collaborate with and connect with often are not salespeople at all.
Yep.
They are, maybe creators even, but and like even Liam was sales ops and not, like the front guy always. Yep. And so being the front person and always being that like turned on front person is how I am used to showing up. And so it just, like you said, makes people want to be like, hey, will you basically like come give your energy to this?
Will you come build what they're actually saying? Will you come build our company for us? Will you do the sales for us?
Yeah.
Right. Yep. Because, it's actually, she'll bring everybody to the playground. Right. Mm-hmm. And then all I have to do is show up. And they now might be thinking on that on a conscious level, but I'm definitely on a subconscious. You're the Hail Mary pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. And I'm just that I just have to give, I'm bad about saying no. You're right.
Okay. Here you go.
Because
I'm going to tell you how to do it. You ready?
Yep.
I tell people this all the time. I only speak for free once a month. So I can't fit you in this month, but I have an availability. Right?
I like
when you
that.
just start telling people I only take on one guest webinar a month. I only take on one. Then people are like, oh, okay, that's just your process.
Yep. Okay.
An easy way to say no without saying no. You're just saying like, I can't do it right now. Just book it out.
Yeah, because it's like, I don't, it's not that I actually don't want to do it. I just don't want to fill my whole calendar with things
So just make a limit. Like I only do one of those a month and I'm already booked this month. Here's the month I'm available next.
Yeah. Why does that feel harder in business? I sub for yoga. I teach one yoga class a week. That's my class, but I sub for other classes. And I have a firm line at 2 subs a week. Like I cannot teach more than 3 classes a week or it's overwhelming for me. It's easy for me to say that. Maybe that's why, because I gave it a number. I was like, I can only do 2 without.
It is. Because otherwise you're just saying no. And then you feel like you have to have a reason.
Yeah.
Right. And then that gets personal and that gets icky, to use your word. It gets icky. And so what we want to do is we want to make it something that is business.
Yeah.
No, this is how many I do a month and I'm already booked this month. Sorry, but we can do it another month. And then you retain that. And I had to do that because I was speaking for free everywhere. Mm-hmm. And I was like, at a certain point, I don't have any time to speak for money if I'm speaking for free everywhere.
Yeah.
But to Donnie's point, no's are sexy. I will tell you by saying that, some people have come up with the money to pay me.
Oh, true. Oh, trust
me. Amazing how that happens when you tell them.
Plenty of sales transactions in my life have started with me going, I'm not going to take that deal. Sorry, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, maybe we can,
Absolutely.
So that's really true. Well,
put a number on it.
Let me ask you guys this. So I have an opportunity with a company here locally that is a podcast promotion and like sponsorship company essentially. And they have like 50 or so podcasts that they're working with at any point in time. The CEO wants to gift her clients an hour with me to look at their LinkedIn stuff, see how they can help promote the show by promoting from themselves, et cetera, et cetera. But she doesn't want to pay me to do that. It's just me showing up for free. And then if they hire me, then I get to work.
No,
maybe there's
no. All she's trying to do is bring value to her fucking clients and abuse you in the process.
No.
Fuck no.
I'm so bad at this. Like to me, that seemed like a way to get in front of a bunch of people.
A way to get in front of a bunch of broke people.
Broke people for an hour each? Are you kidding?
If she values you, then she can pay for your retainer up front and then gift it to all of her people.
Amen.
Right. Well, I think, and that's kind of what when we started the conversation, I kind of had hoped that was where it was going. And our last conversation was a little bit more like getting down to brass tacks about what it was actually going to look like. And she was like, I wouldn't pay you for it. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, and I mean, it wouldn't necessarily be 50 people either. It's like whoever wants to sign up and do it, like a free sign up thing, but no, still no. Okay.
So look at all the shows. How many of those shows are focused on mid-market selling into companies, B2B? How many of these shows are talking to salespeople and are your ideal audience? How many of those hosts are people that could say yes to your training? And I bet almost all of them aren't.
Peyton, put up Eric's comment.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, I got you, Eric.
We got husband on our side. We're good.
And in case you're curious what we were thinking, fuck no, you're not doing that.
You know what? With kids, you know this. I bet Eric and I haven't even had that conversation. Our life is so like ships passing in the night that like he got a review 2 weeks ago that I wanted to hear about, and I don't think we've talked about it yet. But that's just the way life goes sometimes.
Well, we got about 5 minutes to wrap this baby up. So real quick, Ashley, kind of give us some of your highlights and takeaways from today. What are you going to do going forward with this information?
Okay, here's my top 3. I am definitely going to do the local coffee shop thing just to try to help my local stuff. But I am, and this didn't happen on this show, but Donnie, I am definitely going to use the tip that you gave about speaking with the coffee shop and asking them if I can, I'm going to bring people into your place. Is there anything else I can do, to be helpful and promote you guys while I have this here? So I'm definitely going to do that. And then I am going to I want to come up with a webinar that I can do that's like a 45-minute webinar. So yes, on that, I need to figure out what the content looks like. And I heard, Stevie, I heard you say that you do it once a month. Do you cover the same content once a month, or do you new content every time?
Well, every time is going a bit far. I do about 6.
Okay.
I read.
I have 2 that I rotate in and out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, I would say you need more than 1, but you don't need 100.
I mean, I have like 10.
Yeah, that's fine. That's plenty. Don't do it.
There are lots of people that do the exact same one every single month after month, and do very well with it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Because people know what they're showing up for, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so the webinar thing is my biggest takeaway at the moment. But also,
it's because it's mine, Donnie. If we want to put a point there, that was mine.
-12. That's your point. -12.
But also the niche thing, and maybe like not letting myself worry so much about the fact that everybody is telling me I should be in auto and find my own spot instead. And the spot is feeling maybe like the multi-generational situation, and seeing like make my messaging lean a little bit more towards the sales managers or the older generation, to know that I can help them with their things that they feel uncomfortable about in the LinkedIn space.
Perfect. Love that. Love that. Awesome. Well, let's talk about upcoming events. I'm going to start off one just for Ashley, but every Friday, her and Liam do farts in a frying pan.
I can't even say it.
Oh, Jesus. So tell them really quick about your live audio every Friday, Ashley.
So Liam and I, it's essentially like a fireside chat. We would love to do a podcast, but the podcast is not interactive. And so instead we do this live audio on LinkedIn so that people can come up on stage and chat with us and talk about what we're talking about, or bring a new topic to the table. And it has we've probably been doing it for over 20 weeks now. And we have a lot of fun with it. We talk about a lot of fun. Donnie is like a co-host that doesn't get paid, and he just shows up to help us and entertain us and heckle us mostly.
Yes.
But it's been it's been a great way for other people that are coming to the room to network, and to find other people. I know Melissa. What's Melissa's last name?
Cohen.
Why can't I think of it? Nope, not Cohen. The other one, the sales one. But anyway, she lives in Colorado, but she got a client from one of them. And so, but it's just been fun coming together and like talking about things and letting people bring up their own topics. And so that it is.
That's awesome.
All it is.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Stevie, I know you got plays coming up.
We do. We have Head Over Heels. We open November 29th, which is Black Friday. So you spent time with your family on Thanksgiving. You need to go do something fun. So come hang out with us. We open November 29th. We run to December 8th, fleetwoodproject.org. Head Over Heels, if you don't know, is an all 80s party. Go-go music. Head Over Heels, Our Lips Are Sealed, Vacation, Heaven is a Place on Earth. It's all the music you love.
Yeah.
And there's a ton of audience participation. So dress up, show up. It'll be a blast.
Oh my God, so fun. I totally wish I lived close enough to
I wish you did too.
Well, Bernie, what you got?
I've got 2 events actually this week. One tomorrow with our friend Allison Simmons. She is doing a workshop and a webinar and a follow-up VIP workshop, learning how to use ChatGPT as your free business manager. And then I'm doing a second one with a couple of AI experts in learning and development It's called Disruptive Learning, Demystifying Technology and Enabling People to Use AI on Wednesday, the 20th.
Very cool.
Nice.
Very
Awesome.
cool. I'll be in New York December 9th for the LinkedIn local there in Times Square. So you can find
Oh
that.
my
just
God, I saw that you posted that. You remember there was a naked cowboy or a cowboy in underwear or something with a guitar that used to hang out, and I feel like that's so you.
Oh yeah. Fucking, they're not ready for this dude in Times Square. Let me tell you, it should be absolutely crazy.
I just hope he keeps all his clothes on.
Trust me, that will not be a worry whatsoever. I got you
Oh, God.
covered. So, and then of course we got the Badass Business Summit September 17th through the 19th in Fort Worth, Texas. So, but guys, what an amazing week. Ashley, thanks for hanging out with us. It's 9 o'clock. We got to roll. So we're here every Monday, 8 a.m. Love you, mean it. See you. Bye.
Bye.